Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's story takes us deep into the wilderness, where a man who preferred trees over people was met with the most unexpected visitor imaginable, a silent bride, bound and abandoned at his gate. What began as a mystery quickly unraveled into something far more intense, emotional, and unforgettable. The setting is remote, surrounded by thick pine forests, with a modest wooden cabin sitting quietly in the middle of nowhere. The exterior reflects the life of a solitary man who had built everything with his own two hands. Weathered timber, a hand-chopped stack of firewood, and an old pickup truck are the only signs of life. It was meant to be a place of isolation and healing for the man, a lumberjack who had left society behind. But everything changed the morning he found her. She was wearing a wedding dress, torn and dusty, her hands loosely tied in front of her, and eyes that had seen too much but said nothing. Inside, the cabin was simple and functional. A stone fireplace crackled with warmth, mismatched furniture brought together more for comfort than style, and old tools hung neatly on the walls. It wasn't a place meant for guests, especially not someone like her. She remained silent, communicating only with shaky hands and trembling eyes. The kitchen smelled of cedar and coffee, but tension hung in the air like fog. At first, the man was unsure whether to help or keep his distance. But over time, her presence changed the rhythm of his life. Performance-wise, the silent bride began to adapt to the cabin slowly. She helped gather wood, cleaned up small spaces, and even started arranging things in patterns, almost as if she was trying to bring peace back into her own world through order. Though she said nothing, her actions spoke volumes. The lumberjack observed her resilience. She wasn't weak, she was surviving. Safety became his primary concern. Whoever left her there, bound and alone, could still be watching. He began securing the perimeter more thoroughly, placing traps in less visible spots and fortifying his doors. He taught her how to use a flare in case of danger and showed her the hiding spots he had once made for himself. Trust didn't come easily to either of them, but in silence, it grew. What made this situation so unique was the contrast between them. He was rugged, strong, scarred by the world, and chose silence because he disliked noise. She was delicate, broken, but forced into silence by trauma. Together, their quiet became comforting rather than empty. She eventually began to write in an old notebook he gave her. What she wrote shook him to the core. It wasn't just fear that brought her to his doorstep. It was an escape from something much darker, an arranged marriage to a man twice her age, tied to a family debt, and silenced under the weight of tradition. She didn't just run, she was left behind to vanish. The emotional price of such a story can't be calculated, but if this tale had a price tag in storytelling, it would be invaluable. The richness of emotion, the layers of trauma, trust, and human connection, all under the backdrop of nature's silence, it's the kind of narrative that lingers long after it ends. In conclusion, what began as a random encounter became a test of compassion, patience, and redemption. The lumberjack, who thought he needed no one, found himself protecting someone who had no voice but every reason to scream. And she, who was discarded like an object, found strength in being accepted for simply existing. No big rescues, no flashy declarations, just two people healing in a place where no one was watching. The power of this story lies not in the action, but in the quiet moments. A glance across the room. A piece of bread shared. A single sentence scribbled on a torn page, "Thank you for not asking questions when I had no answers." Some tales don't need loud words, they just need to be felt.